Have you ever laid in bed exhausted, phone glowing in your face, and suddenly remembered that you forgot something? Maybe a name you absolutely know. Maybe why you walked into the kitchen. Maybe the word that floated away mid sentence like a balloon at a birthday party. And before you know it, you are Googling early signs of dementia at 2 a.m., which is when Google stops being a search engine and becomes more of an anxiety vending machine. Here's what the research actually shows. Some of what scares you in the middle of the night is rarely the thing you fear most. I'm Coach Janet J, and today on your next best step, we are looking at the difference between the kind of memory slip that is just life and the kind worth bringing to a doctor, plus one small step you can take this week to care for your brain instead of marinating in fear. Before we go any further, this episode is educational content within the scope of integrative wellness coaching. It is not medical advice, and I am not here to diagnose you. If you are noticing memory changes that are new, worsening, or interfering with daily life, please reach out to a qualified healthcare professional. That is stewardship. Bringing concerns into daylight is one of the wisest things you can do for your brain. June is Alzheimer's and Brain Awareness Month. So this fear is in the air for a lot of women right now, especially the woman who is noticing her own memory slipping in ways she did not expect and is afraid that something is beginning. If that is you, take a breath, close the extra browser tabs, and let's slow this down together. Here's a framework that helps me, and I think it would help you too. The National Institute on Aging draws this distinction. Forgetfulness can be a normal part of aging. Dementia is not. The question to ask is this: is what you are noticing occasional and annoying, or is it increasing and interfering? Occasional and annoying sounds like this: you forgot why you walked into the room. You blanked on a name and remembered it 20 minutes later. You misplaced your glasses and found them on top of your head. Inconvenient and rarely a medical emergency. You had trouble finding the word and then it came back to you. Those are common with normal aging, with stress, with poor sleep, with multitasking, and with a brain that is holding a lot. Increasing and interfering sounds different. It looks like getting lost in places you have known for years, repeating the same question many times without realizing it, having a real difficulty managing bills or medication when those used to be routine, putting things in unusual places and being unable to retrace your steps, changes in judgment, withdrawal from activities you used to love. Those are the patterns the National Institute on Aging says are worth bringing to a doctor. Getting evaluated does not mean accepting the worst case scenario. It means gathering information. It means stewardship. It means refusing to let fear keep something vague that deserves daylight. Now, here's where I want to bring this to your life right now. Some of what women fear as dementia is actually chronic stress wearing a costume. If you go back to episode 96, where we talked about high functioning anxiety, we covered how sustained managed stress accumulates in the body without making a sound. The brain is part of that body. A landmark review by Lupin and colleagues, published in Nature Reviews Neuroscience in 2009, synthesized decades of research showing that chronic stress affects the hippocampus, the part of the brain involved in memory formation. Long-term exposure to stress hormones can produce cognitive symptoms that look and feel like early decline. That is important. The research is not saying chronic stress causes dementia. It is saying chronic stress can produce symptoms that mimic decline. which is a meaningful distinction at 2 a.m. Think about what your brain has been carrying: caregiving for a parent, worrying about an adult child, hormone shifts, decision fatigue, disrupted sleep, grief that you have not had time to feel, the constant hum of being the one everyone counts on. Asking your brain to function at full capacity through all of that is like expecting your phone to run perfectly with 47 apps open and 2% battery. Your brain may not be failing you, it may be waving a small white flag. Here is the part I really want you to hear: dementia is not always preventable. We are never going to pretend that every case can be avoided, and we are never going to blame the woman who develops it. That would be cruel and inaccurate. And research does give us areas where lifestyle and care matter meaningfully. In July 2024, the Lancet Commission on Dementia published an update. Led by Gil Livingston and a team of international researchers, the Commission identified 14 modifiable risk factors that, addressed across the life course, may be associated with up to 45% of dementia cases globally. The 2024 update added 2 new factors to the previous list: vision loss and high LDL cholesterol. That number, 45%, is global, theoretical, and aspirational. It is not a guarantee that any individual woman can prevent dementia by checking boxes. What it does tell us is that brain care is meaningful. It means walking, sleep, vision and hearing checks, social connection, treating depression, managing blood pressure, mental engagement, addressing alcohol use. These things matter, not as prevention guarantees, as care. Fear says you are powerless. Wisdom says you have one small step. Lamentations 3, verses 22 and 23 says this: because of the Lord's great love, we are not consumed, for his compassions never fail. They are new every morning. Great is your faithfulness. Lamentations is a book written from the rubble. The author is sitting in the wreckage of everything he loved. And in the middle of that grief, he says, God's mercies are new every morning. And that matters for the woman who Googles dementia at 2 a.m. and wakes up the next day exhausted, scared, and ashamed of how the night spiraled. The mercies don't run out. You didn't use up the morning's grace at 2:47 a.m. clicking your 7th symptom article. Tomorrow morning, the mercies are new again, which means tomorrow you can take a small, faithful step to care for the brain God gave you. Mentally, choose one calming activity instead of the late night Google spiral. Emotionally, name what you are carrying so it does not run silently in the background. Physically, a walk, more water, a real night of sleep. Spiritually, bring the fear to God before you bring it to a search engine. All 4 pillars matter for your brain, not in a 5 a.m. overhaul kind of way, in a one small step kind of way. Here is your next best step for this week. Pick one brain health practice and do it 3 times. Just one, just 3 times. It could be a 10-minute walk 3 days a week. It could be a real bedtime routine that protects your sleep. It could be calling someone for a real conversation instead of scrolling. It could be scheduling the hearing check, the vision check, or the physical you have been putting off. It could be a puzzle, a class, a new recipe, a book. And if you are noticing memory changes that are new, worsening, or interfering with daily life, please make the appointment. That's care, not panic. 3 things to take with you. The National Institute on Aging draws a clear line between forgetfulness, which can be normal, and dementia, which is not. And the line is whether it interferes with daily life. The 2024 Lancet Commission identified 14 modifiable risk factors associated with nearly half of dementia cases globally, which means brain care is meaningful. And Lamentations reminds us that the mercies are new every morning, even after a 2 a.m. that did not go the way you wanted. The next time you are tempted to Google early signs of dementia at 2 a.m., pause first. Take a breath. Ask, is this occasional and annoying or increasing and interfering? Ask, what else has my brain been carrying lately? Ask, what is one wise step I can take in daylight? Closing Google may be the holiest step of the night. On Monday, something big is happening. Episode 100, the 100th episode of Your Next Best Step. I'm calling it, What If This Is All There Is? And it's going to look at a question so many women are afraid to say out loud in this season of life. I would love for you to be there with me. In the meantime, follow or subscribe wherever you are listening or watching so that the milestone episode lands the moment it drops. And if you have a moment, a rating or review makes a huge difference. It helps other women find this show, and I'm so grateful for each one. I will see you on Monday for episode 100. Take your next best step.